Hi guys, it's Ouchomano. How's everyone doing? Good, good, good. I hope, yay, we have a new zoologist. Well, actually we have two, but I'll deal with this one first, okay? So today I am reviewing Sloth. From what I remember, this is Victor's most requested animal, and we finally have it. It's slinked and slowly gotten its way into our hearts. Well, some of us. This one is created by Prin Lomras. I'm a huge fan of him. I've had the pleasure of meeting him multiple times. He is the guy behind Stranger's Perfumery and Parfums Prisana, among others. I've smelled lots of his perfumes, so when I found out he was making two zoologists, I was very, very excited, of course. You know, side note, I was going to introduce this video like this. Hi guys, but then I thought that's just going to take far too long. So firstly, thank you Victor, as always, for sending me some of this to try. I've had so much fun trying to figure this little one out, and it's been difficult. I will say that of all of the Zoologist perfumes, and I have reviewed every single one so far, this one has been the trickiest, and it's taken me the longest to actually form an opinion and figure out what it is that's happening. It's been a difficult one. It's been a slow process. So thanks Victor, I'm always very appreciative. Zoologist is my favourite brand, so these are my favourite reviews to do. So let me give you the quick description and the notes, and then I'll tell you how it smells. I won't give you the full description, I'll just give you the first part. It says, with its vibrant sun-dappled hues, the dense rainforest beckons invitingly, yet within its misty depths, countless dangers lurk, slinking across the forest floor. Oh, I just said slinking. Subliminal messages? Dangling high among the treetops may seem a dubious defence against peril, but for leisurely sloths, the forest canopy offers a protective shroud. Safe in their leafy fortress, the sluggish creatures move so slowly, even moss overtakes them. It's so cute that moss can grow on an animal because they're that slow. Cuteness overload. They snooze in a cradle of moist green aromas, oblivious to the chaos below. So, what are the notes? So the top notes are chamomile, lavender, violet leaf and acai berry. The heart notes are marigold, beeswax, anise, jatamansi, jasmine and cumin. I've only ever seen jatamansi listed as a note like that in one other perfume. I think it's known as spikenard, the oil that comes from jatamansi, and that smells really, really weird to me. Kind of smells like musk. It's known as musk root, and it also smells a little bit like off milk, and it's earthy. It's a very strange note anyway. So jatamansi, jasmine, cumin, and then the base notes are hay, which is a signature of Prin actually. I've smelled a lot of his perfumes, and his Strangers line in particular does have a lot of fragrances that have hay in them. Frankincense, myrrh, mushroom, oak moss, vanilla and tonka. So like I said, I have had to test this one so many times, which is why my review has been delayed. I've used pretty much half of this 10ml already. Just every day I'm getting new things and I'm trying to figure it out, and it's a conundrum and I love it. So this is what I've settled on for now. I'm going to spray it on my right hand. It's been drying on my left for a good 5 hours, I would say, so far. So the opening of this fragrance is, there are 4 distinct players that I notice straight away in this. One of them is chamomile. It's a very calming, gently herbal type smell that you get. Really nice. I also get the aromatic side of lavender quite prominently, as opposed to the camphorous side. So they work in tandem to create this beautiful herbal kind of relaxing type feeling. I also smell, sometimes, at first I thought I was smelling mint, the slightest touch of mint there. Then I thought, maybe it's a little bit closer to caraway seeds. But then I realised, it's anise. I get a cool type of seedy, kind of cool spice there as well. And the other big player is a fruity nuance. So it's like a herbal berry. I really feel a berry fruity type feeling, and I'm really going to have to pick this apart for you guys because it's got so much going on. So the berry part let's just segment that out for a second. The berry part to me is really unusual. At times it feels lactonic. It's kind of a little bit powdery, and it feels like if a sloth was eating some berries from a tree, I don't know, or a bush somewhere in a forest, and it kind of fell to the forest floor and went a little bit rotten. But it's not unpleasant. I'm not saying it smells bad. It's just, it's got this tart but also lactonic type feeling. It's almost like berries in milk. It's very, very weird and cool. And it's the part of the fragrance that stumped me the most. I was thinking, is that banana? Is it like a kind of rotting banana type smell? But it's definitely got a semi-sweet, fruity note in the opening. And it's really unusual. So you've got herbs thrown at you, you've got this calming chamomile, you've got the aromatic lavender part, and then you've got this smooth berry. It's almost a little bit curdled in the best way possible. Yeah, I know, I say weird things, but that's just how it feels. It's somewhere between like sour berries in milk and herbs. Like if you put chamomile tea in milk almost. Don't get me twisted. I'm not saying that this is a creamy or milky fragrance, but the berry part of it feels somewhat lactonic, and I don't know where that comes from, but it's definitely interesting. If you've smelled any of Prin's fragrances before, you will definitely notice that this is his signature, this is his stamp. He's done a great job here at creating, filling a brief obviously that Victor's given him, but sticking to his signature style, and I'm impressed. Really impressed by this one. The opening is so tricky. Some days I really smell hay, but it's not like a coumarin type hay. Sometimes it's drier, sometimes it's more berry, sometimes lavender jumps out. I never get mushroom though, and I kind of wish I did. I think it might make it really super odd, but for me it's all about aromatics and grassiness and forestiness and fruit at the beginning. So getting into when it starts to dry, I have to mention that the transition from the wet stages to dry is absolutely seamless. It's a slow, slinky process that gradually just reveals the second part of the fragrance, and to me there are only 2 distinct stages to this fragrance. Some of the zoologists have about 10, you know, they're just crazy fun and all over the place. This one has a very smooth and slow transition from wet to dry. So when it starts to dry, once this berry-ish fruity part for me backs off, there is an obvious kind of dank feel to this fragrance. It's almost like forest floor as opposed to forest canopy. Macaque by Zoologist is probably the most canopy-like fragrance. This one's more about, it feels a bit more undergrowth-like. And this is where the resins come into play for me. There's frankincense and myrrh in here, but it leans more towards frankincense as opposed to myrrh. If it did go the myrrh way, it would feel more oriental, and it doesn't. The frankincense in here is clever. What it does here is it lends its coniferous tonalities to the fragrance, and it just kind of solidifies the fact that this is a foresty fragrance. Whether it's, you know, a coniferous piney sort of forest, it's like a multi-dimensional forest fragrance that comes at you from every angle. So it's not just a rainforest, there's coniferous notes in here as well. You've got forest floor, and I can really start to feel the moss take hold here as well. Finally, an oak moss fragrance that I can like. You did it again, Zoologist, you did it again. If any of you watch me, I go on about the fact that I hate oak moss so much. It's one of my least favourite notes. And in here, Prin has done a masterful job. So this part of the fragrance also is where everything is very, very seamless. I said in my most recent video that sometimes when a fragrance just completely melts and everything just feels like one, it's either characterless or it's masterfully blended. And in this case, it's masterfully blended. Prin is showing his skill here. Everything kind of melts together and it becomes one. This is the stage where I got complimented recently by a police officer, no less. I was 4 or 5 hours into the wearing and a police officer actually said, "What is that smell you're wearing? It's amazing." I said, "I know, right? It's great." It's called Sloth, by the way. So here, this is where it's been drying for 5 hours. This is where you get coniferous, you get frankincense, but it's not overly resinous. It does start to get a bit more of a backbone and a bite, and it's not so open textured and aromatic anymore. This is where the heavier notes start to kind of take hold. So it's an oak moss foresty frankincense at this point, and it's great because it doesn't feel incensey to me. It's listed as incense, or the description says that there's incense there, but it's more the coniferous side of frankincense, and I really, really like that. So it's turning greener here. It's really bringing on home the foresty elements instead of the herbal. At this stage also, it kind of starts to reveal a clarity, like a crisp woodiness as well. It goes a bit sharper, where at the beginning that acai berry sort of sweet thing was a little bit more blanketed. Here is where it sort of comes into focus, where you can really feel there's a prominent kind of zing to it, and I loved the transition. The way it just seamlessly blends is great. Oh gosh, there's a reason I love this brand so much, guys. It's just, everything's a journey. So much further in, around 8 or 9 hours into the wear length, I was kind of waiting for this vanilla to come out. I was waiting for tonka. It doesn't really happen, and I'm really surprised because my skin actually amps vanilla all the time. It kind of overtakes when it's in a fragrance, and this one, it really doesn't. The vanilla only very, very subtly reveals itself towards the end, but it remains an oak moss fragrance with whispers of coniferous incense to the end for me, and that's kind of it. Let's talk about aggression. Some of the Zoologist fragrances are really aggressive on purpose, and I love that. I'm looking at T-Rex, I'm looking at Hyrax, I'm looking at Rhinoceros, things like that. I would say that this is middle of the road in terms of intensity. It's not so in your face. Obviously it's noticeable. It's a Zoologist we're talking about here, and this one's manageable. It doesn't overtake your whole life, but it's not shy either. It's a middle of the road in terms of projection and stuff like that, and intensity. In terms of longevity, easily 9-10 hours. I mean, it's kind of standard with most of Zoologist's fragrances, some more than others, but you're going to get quality if you try their fragrances out. And I'm going to leave it there. I am a fan of this. I wouldn't say it's my favourite, but it's definitely interesting, and I like that it kind of keeps me on my toes, and every time I try it I get just a little bit of something else, and you know, I had to just stop and do the review before I found a million other things going on. So congratulations Prin and Victor, I love this one. You did it again. I'm out on my own, trying to make the world smell better, one video at a time. Goodbye.